Happy week 4 of The Artist Way. Hi there, my name is Sam. I am doing The Artist Way, a spiritual guide to creativity. We are on week 4 out of week 12. And if you've missed any of my other vlogs, I have been vlogging every single week, talking about my experience and, what I'm doing while I'm on this path to unblocking my inner artist. It is media deprivation week, so that means like my big challenge for the week. The book says no reading, but obviously the book was written in the 90s, so a lot of people have interpreted it as media deprivation, so that is what I'm going to try to do. Obviously, as a digital media professional, that is a little difficult. So I am going to limit social media use to just work, limit TV, limit movie watching, limit YouTube watching. I think that'll be very difficult for me. And if I'm going to do music, I'm going to do physical whole albums only, not YouTube selected mixes or things. This doesn't count in the car. And also, I think that like if I'm gonna watch TV, it's not gonna be background TV. It's gonna be like I'm sitting down and like watching TV because that is what I want to do. I'm also not gonna read, but if we're being honest, I should probably be doing more of that, not less of it. So let's go make some breakfast. Welcome to my disastrous kitchen, where all the appliances are making noise. I should have started the dishwasher after I had breakfast. That was my bad, but I meant to run it last night. So it's interesting because a lot of the critiques of this book is how it's kind of like steeped in privilege. And there are definitely times where it's like, we don't live in the same tax bracket. Like one of the challenges this week is like, do you have a room in your house you can make like your dream space? Meaning like a place to like imagine and dream and create. Truthfully, I don't even have a place in my home to like put my recycles really, because I live in an apartment. And that's why it always looks like a disaster like this. I think I mentioned this in a previous week. I'm working on this other YouTube video series called Getting My Life Together. And it's not going to come out probably for a while because I want to take my time and like, get my life together. And I don't want to start posting it before I really feel like I've made it somewhere, made some progress. But part of that is like kind of redoing all of my spaces in my apartment to be more functional and a little less looking like that. And it's funny because this week in week 4, Julia kind of makes the commentary that's like, doing this book will make you want to like go through your clothes or go through your closet or whatever. And I'm like, I think they kind of started concurrently because I think that like I started this book because I was looking for a way to feel like myself again and to feel inspired and to feel creative. And also while doing that, I was kind of like clearing out spaces and trying to make room in my home and kind of coming out of that like darkness of the winter. So I don't think that one is connected to another in the way that like the book is the cause. I think that the cause is that I am trying to ultimately change my life a little bit. And I think that they are happening concurrently because it makes sense that they happen concurrently, not in a cause and effect of one another. But for some people it is. Also, while reading chapter 4, I was like, what is Julia's zodiac sign? So I looked it up and I was right. She's a Pisces. And all Pisces I know are kind of bougie. But like Pisces is like the dream sign. And there are just some things in this week's chapter that I'm like, are very like dream. My second guess was like air sign, right? I don't know which, but felt very air sign, artistic-esque, but Pisces makes complete sense to moi. So, it's 6:30 in the morning. I have to be on my day job broadcast at 8 a.m. So I have about an hour and a half to kind of chillax, but not scroll on social media because we're not doing that this week. Truthfully, what I'm going to do is get a little bit of work done before I start my day job. I need to dump some footage and maybe I'll do fun work. Maybe I will edit week 3 because I have been doing that on Sunday and I didn't for whatever reason this week. Probably because it was Mother's Day and I was just trying to, and we also cleaned. You can't tell based on the background. You could if you looked at my stove, but, or my bathroom, right? If you walked into my bathroom, you'd be like, I could tell you guys deep clean this. But I'm going to go back to the office and do a little editing and then get ready for my week. Another successful broadcast complete. I'm now on a little walk. It's a little gray and cloudy out, but it is comfortable outside, which is nice. So I'm doing my best to not scroll, right? Media deprivation, no scrolling, no watching TV, no reading. And I'm doing mostly well. I'm doing really well on my phone because I keep like putting it on focus mode, so I can't even open those apps. On the computer though, it's so funny how it's just like a reflex, like open up a Chrome browser, type in Facebook, go there. And I had to go look at something for a client really quickly on Facebook. So then like all of a sudden I started like scrolling and I was like, no, we need to make this stop. And as I'm like sitting here with my own thoughts on my walk, I was thinking about like short form versus long form content. I did edit my video and there was a couple of things I cut out from that video because they just felt like random, right? When it comes to like long form content, it does feel like it needs to be like an essay, right? Like it needs to have supporting facts and a conclusion. It needs to be like fully thought out. But one of my favorite things about making short form content is like those random thoughts that you have. You could just like throw them out there and like toss them to the void and see if anybody relates or anyone comments or whatever, right? Like it's just like a nice little like random thought that you can kind of just like boop, okay, what do you guys think? Versus it feels like long form videos to me feel like they need to be more like complete and more whole. Okay, so we are quickly approaching 6 p.m. I have just been making social content client work for the past couple hours, and I think it's crazy. I think part of the reason why I wanted to start Asana, I think I talked about this a little bit in previous videos, but I started Asana semi-recently, about a month ago, I think. And part of the reason I wanted to do that is to really have a gauge on just how much output we're doing, right? So I today created at least 15 pieces of unique content, most of which were video. We did do a couple of like photo or graphics or whatever, but the churning is just there, and I'm not done. I really need to get a few more pieces of content out this week and make a couple of plans for a shoot or two we're doing this week. But now all I want to do is like go watch a movie or scroll on Instagram or whatever and like turn my brain off. But we're not supposed to be doing that. I did slip up a couple times because I was also scheduling the content as I was making it, kind of thing. Not like I would like batch a couple and then schedule a couple, and I needed to like go collaborate or tag on a couple of posts that we had shared recently. So, you know, while you're on Instagram or while you're on Facebook, it's really easy to just like click on something and then be like, oh no, we're not doing that today. Back out. This is going to be a few weeks later, so it'll be like old news by then. But I just saw that Meta is rolling out like comment and we'll send you a blah 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 message for like internally, right? You don't need a plugin. So I'm testing it for a couple of brands. I just set that up a few moments ago. So we'll see how it works. I know that Meta, their scheduling tools work super good. That's why we all use third-party systems. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so just one other quick thought about short form content is there is very much that like immediate satisfaction, right? So if I wanted to talk about short form content right now and I went on Instagram, I would make my reel and I would post it right away and I would get feedback on it right away. People would comment or like or whatever they do with it. And it's very like instantaneous, and it's also like kind of just out there, right? So with these long form videos, one, I'm recording this today on Brad didn't flip over his calendar. So I'm recording this today on May 11th. It's not going to get edited until May 17th, and it's not going to be posted until I think like May 25th, right? So like I'm thinking these thoughts now. One, I may cut out all of these short form thoughts by the time I get to the edit. So they may never actually make it out into the world. And then even if I do, it won't be for another 2 weeks. So I think that like there is some like instant gratification about short form that I also kind of like enjoy, maybe. And it's also, I can't overthink it, right? Like, I'm just going to post it and put it out there. But like when I'm editing these long form videos, I'm like, okay, what am I going to take out? How am I going to make it make sense? How am I going to build my narrative? She's talking too much about nonsense. Short form is great for talking about nonsense because you're just going to do that one nonsensical topic and that's it. So in this chapter, the author kind of mentions like eventually you'll run out of work when you're not reading or you're not, consuming media or whatever that looks like. And one, that's a very bold assumption. I don't think that I could run out of work, truth be told. But also like right now I'm feeling like very done with work, and if I'm not going to watch TV, I'm probably going to clean. I think she is also underestimating that like if you are a blocked creative or if you're somebody like feeling unwell about your artistic creativity, you're probably not also doing well in other pieces of your life, right? So I desperately need to deep clean and purge my whole home. So my default, if I'm not going to work, is not going to be to play. It's going to be to clean. I saw someone on Instagram last week say, how come your house is always clean? And she's like, I'm not fun. She's like, I'm so sorry to tell you this. I'm not fun. I just clean. And I was like, I must be the funnest person in the world because my space is always a disaster. But the truth of the matter is I'm just the other breed. I'm just a workaholic. I'm not actually fun either. I just work a lot. So then I don't clean because I'm just working. I don't know, but I'm gonna go clean, I guess. I'm out on my walk. It's pretty early still yet. It's a beautiful day. I think today's gonna be like the last like sunny day we get for a little bit. I think we're expecting a few days of rain, so I'm just trying to be outside for a little bit. I am struggling with the media deprivation, if you could imagine. So I think the problem is that like I kind of made up my own rules, and it was like, oh well, I'm not going to scroll on social media, and I'm not going to watch TV, and I'm not going to watch movies, and I'm not going to read books. And not to say what am I supposed to do, but I feel like I just cut out everything, and that kind of made it a little bit perhaps too much all at once. So I'm doing my best not to scroll. I know in an ideal world I would delete all of my apps off my phone and sign out of all the social media, but I still have client work to do. And most of what I do for client work can be scheduled on a third-party platform, but when it comes to like certain tagging or putting links in stories or collaborating with people, like I need to be in the app. I also need to be able to change things, right? Like we posted something yesterday that the flyer had been updated, but I used the old flyer and I didn't get the new flyer. So we got the updated flyer, and then I had to go into Facebook and actually put in the new flyer, like change it out, which isn't a big deal, but it requires me to be in the app. So all that to say, I have been very conscientious and I have not been scrolling for hours on end, but I have still been catching myself like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to be scrolling after I see like a video or two. Second thing is that like, I don't think I want to not do YouTube. You know, I'm not going to do shorts on YouTube, but I'm going to keep up with my subscriptions. Also, yesterday, not scrolling made sure that I did not procrastinate, and I got so much work done. But by the time 6 o'clock rolled around, I was like, I am tapped out. Like I have no more, I have nothing left to give. I can keep working. There's still work to do, but I need to not keep working. So I decided that while my baked potato was in the oven, I was going to watch Failure to Launch, which I don't think I've ever actually watched. So it was like a nice, like, I watched the full film. I didn't scroll during the film. I wasn't like checking my emails. I put my phone in the other side of the room and I just watched the movie and whatever ads played during it, right? So it's very interesting to catch myself. And I know what I need to do if I don't want to scroll, right? Like I quit Twitter by uninstalling it from my phone and signing out of it on all platforms. So if I wanted to go on Twitter, I would have to take the extra step to sign in. However, I really can't do that with social, at least not this week. Like if I wanted to do that in the future, one, I think we would need an employee, to be honest. But also I would need to not learn on like Sunday that I was going to be doing media deprivation. It's also funny because to me, if I don't want to scroll on social media, I open a book. But the original challenge is not reading. So I'm not doing that either. So last night I did just watch Failure to Launch, and then after dinner I went to bed and did like 3 or 4 of the activities in the workbook, and then I played solitaire on my phone because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna scroll, so we're gonna play solitaire. And I did that until basically I got very sleepy, and then I went to bed, which I know is not good sleep health either because I was still looking at my phone, but I didn't scroll. So there is that. Happy Wednesday afternoon. If you're wondering, how is the media deprivation going? Poorly, thank you for asking. Happy Thursday. It's not even 9 a.m. and it's already like been a weird morning. I was bad, and when I woke up this morning, I scrolled a little bit and I was like, dang it. But I did catch myself pretty quickly. So then I moved on and went over and started doing my morning pages. And the strangest thing happened where I was on page 2 doing my morning pages, and what came out on the page was like, I haven't done my spending tracking at all in 2026. So I stopped doing my morning pages and I started doing my, like, just going through my bank statements and like doing my calculations, which I do by hand. I've used Rocket Money before, or I have Rocket Money. I pay for the subscription, but it just doesn't work well for me. One, my main bank account does not connect to them. And I've put in requests a couple times and I don't think that's going to change. And 2, it has to be done on the phone, and I hate doing anything on my phone. So not having like full capabilities on the desktop, I'm not going to be renewing my subscription when that happens. Neither here nor there. I don't know why I stopped and I did not finish page 3 of my morning pages, and I went and did this. Like, I completely like sidetracked myself. I do want to talk about just like one like kind of odd thing that happened last night. So in the book, it talks about like eventually you'll run out of work and have to play. And truly, there's so much work. I was almost not able to get out on this walk because I was thinking about all of the work that I needed to do today, and there was like a couple more tasks that just like popped up in my head. But I was like, no, get outside. So that is not the case. I did not run out of work, but I ran out of steam to keep doing the work. So instead, I was like trying to not scroll on my phone. I'm doing terrible at this media deprivation, by the way, but I was trying to not scroll on my phone, and I was like, you wanna know what? I have not played Pocopia in forever, right? Like, we played a lot of it when it first came out, and I haven't played forever. So I decided to get on and play a little bit. And while I was playing, I found Mewtwo on a dream island. I did eventually find some play, right? Does that count? This is the problem when you were like, you know, like A+, like honor student. You're like, am I doing things right? Am I understanding the syllabus? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this. I played yesterday. It was a video game. It counts as playing, right? It's also really interesting because I don't feel like any other week I have paid attention to like the actual chapter as much, right? Like, after I read the chapter, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I do the tasks. But I guess with like the media deprivation, reading deprivation, I'm just like taking it as the task, as the challenge for the week. Just an interesting note for me. Happy Saturday. I don't have like a real shirt on. This is just an undershirt. I am watching my beautiful friend's graduation ceremony, live streaming it, while also doing some work. It's Saturday. I don't know why I really struggle with morning pages this week. I also failed on my media deprivation. I am a little sick. I started feeling a little bit unwell Thursday night as I was going to bed. And then yesterday, Friday, I woke up with just like the worst sore throat. And today it just feels like a head cold, right? Like, I just feel a lot of pressure in my little head and my throat is killing me, but I have some tea and I'm gonna watch my friend walk and get her doctorate. They're gonna make her a doctor today. I'm so excited. What a beautiful ceremony. I'm so happy that I was able to witness her getting hooded. Because I worked at my university's like TV department sort of thing, I have seen a lot of graduations. Plus, you know, like my 2 older sisters both have bachelor's and master's, and my younger sister has a bachelor's, and me and my younger sister have associate's degrees. So I've been to, or watched, I should say, 2 graduations per sister each. Graduation ceremonies can be the most boring thing you've ever seen in your life, but also they can be so special. And I don't know, she is not the first friend in my friend group to get a doctorate, to become a doctor, but seeing her become a doctor makes me be like, should I become a doctor? And should that be like our friend group little thing, is like a bunch of doctors, women in STEM and maybe spam. I don't know. It's funny because the Artist Way talks a lot about like high value friendships, right? And I think that I am so lucky because I have so many high value friendships that I made a long time ago. This friend that graduated today, I met in elementary school. We played soccer together in like 2nd through 5th grade. And then even in middle school, we played soccer together. I forgot about that. And how lucky am I to have such amazing, long, high value friendships. And it's funny because it's like, oh, get rid of your low value friendships. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know that I ever have really held on to friends that I don't really like. You know what I'm saying? Like the book's like, oh, that friend that you like is not really your friend and you kind of hate her or whatever. And I'm like, maybe I'm too Scorpio for that, but like, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if any of that was coherent, but I am going to clean up a little bit more and then hopefully take a nap before we go to the baseball game. So I did do an artist day on Thursday night. There is a Polish restaurant in town and I went and I took myself on a little date. Ate outside. Unfortunately, the temperature started dropping pretty drastically and by the end I was like, oh, it's a little chillier than I thought. It felt the most date-esque of my artist dates. So it was fun, it was cute. Journaled a little. So I'm gonna go clean, as you can see the disaster behind me, and take off this nail polish and have some fun. What a hot mess of a vlog. I feel like I was all over the place this week, but we'll see how it all comes together. It's Saturday. No, it's Sunday. I did go to a baseball game. It was like one of the minor league Mets versus the minor league Yankees. The Mets team won, so that is good. It is currently summer outside. It's so warm, it's wonderful. I came outside to paint my nails with my favorite nail polish, and it's like clumped up like you would not believe. I have nail polish everywhere, including the dress I was gonna wear out to dinner tonight. So I need to go home and take off. I didn't realize I had it there. Take off my nail polish, get changed. So a chaotic ending to a chaotic week. Next week, week 5, we'll see how it goes. And we completed another week of the Artist Way. So hope you have a great week, and I'll see you for week 5.